Punctuations. Hello, so for today, we are going to learn about diction, tone, and jargon. Diction. Diction is a word choice. When writing, use vocabulary suited for the type of assignment. Words that have almost the same denotations or dictionary meaning can have very different connotations or the implied meanings. Example: formal diction, are not angry. Casual diction, aren't angry. Slang or very informal, ain't ticked. Examples: positive, pruning the brushes, the politician stands. Negative, slashing the bushes, the politician's spin. Some types of diction are almost never advisable in writing. Avoid cliches. Vagueness, language that has more than one equally probable meaning. Wordiness and unnecessarily complex language. Diction also has two meanings. It means choice of words and the clarity of speech. This conversation is an example of choice of words under diction. This plan is pathetic. Don't forget where you are, young man. This plan is suboptimal. Better. Please keep your diction appropriate. Next example is all about clarity of speech under diction. Are you afraid of the dark? What? Dark. Not dark, dark. Your diction is awful. Two meanings of diction. Diction meaning choice of words, phraseology. Our choice of words is influenced by the situation. This choice of words is known as diction. For example, to get it sorted, to mates, to solve the problem, to colleagues, to overcome the challenge, to bosses. It was a mistake, to a close friend. It was an accident, to a work colleague. It was an oversight, to a senior at work. Diction meaning clarity of speech. Diction refers to how clearly words are pronounced. Pronunciation refers to how they are said. Here are some example sentences to show the difference between diction and pronunciation. R-E-A-D or read can be pronounced read or read. Did he just say wed or wet? His diction is poor.
Good day, students. Let's discuss tone. Aside from individual word choice, the overall tone or attitude of a piece of writing should be appropriate to the audience and purpose. The tone may be objective or subjective, logical or emotional, intimate or distant, serious or humorous. It can consist mostly of long, intricate sentences, of short, simple ones, or of something in between. Good writers frequently vary the length of their sentences. One way to achieve proper tone is to imagine a situation in which to say the words being written. A journal might be like a conversation with a close friend where there is the freedom to use slang or other casual forms of speech. A column for a newspaper may be more like a high school graduation speech. It can be more formal, but it can still be funny or familiar. An academic paper is like a formal speech at a conference. Being interesting is desirable, but there is no room for personal digressions or familiar usage of slang words. In all of these cases, there is some freedom of self-expression while adapting to the audience. In the same way, writing should change to suit the occasion. Tone versus voice. Anything you write should still have your voice, something that makes your writing sound uniquely like you. A personal conversation with a friend differs from a speech given to a large group of strangers. Just as you speak to different people in different ways, yet remain yourself, so the tone of your writing can vary with the situation while the voice, the essential individual thoughts and expression is still your own. Examples: don't play what's theirs, play what's not there. Miles Davis. The notes I handle are no better than many pianists, but the pauses between the notes, that is where the art resides. Arthur Schnabel, 1882-1951, German-born U.S. pianist. These two musicians expressed the same thought in their own unique voices. Here we have different examples of tone. First is period. The girl threw the ball. Next is exclamation point. The girl threw the ball. Third is question mark. The girl threw the ball. Fourth is commas. The girl threw the ball straight at her father this time, as her mother watched proudly. And lastly is shorter sentences. The girl threw the ball hard. Her father caught it. Then he made a ridiculous face, pretending to fall over from the force of the throw. She giggled and hopped up and down.
Number 3. Jargon. Jargon refers to the specialized language of a professional or occupational group. While this language is often useful or necessary for those within the group, it is usually meaningless to outsiders. Some professions have so much jargon of their own that it has its own name. For example, lawyers use legalese, while academics use academies. Jargon is also sometimes known as lingo or argot. A passage of text that is full of jargon is said to be jargony. Supporters of jargon believe such language is necessary for navigating the intricacies of certain professions. In scientific fields, for instance, researchers explore difficult subjects that most lay people would not be able to understand. The language the researchers use must be precise because they are dealing with the complex concepts. Molecular biology, for example, or nuclear physics. And simplifying the language might cause confusion or create room for error. In taboo language, Kate Allen and Kate Burridge argued that this is the case. Should jargon be censored? Many people think it should. However, close examination of jargon shows that, although some of it is vicious pretentiousness, its proper use is both necessary and unobjectionable. Critics of jargon, however, say such language is needlessly complicated and in some cases even deliberately designed to exclude outsiders. American poet David Lehman has described jargon as the verbal sleight of hand that makes the old hat seem newly fashionable. He says the language gives an air of novelty and suspicious profundity to ideas that if stated directly would seem superficial, stale, frivolous, or false. In his famous essay, Politics and the English Language, George Orwell argues the obscure and complex language is often used to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable, and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. Jargon versus slang. Jargon should not be confused with slang, which is informal, colloquial language sometimes used by a group or groups of people. The main difference is one of register. Jargon is formal language unique to a specific discipline or field, while slang is common, informal language that is more likely to be spoken than written. A lawyer discussing the amicus curiae brief is an example of jargon. A teen talking about making dough is an example of slang. Here are some list of jargon words. Jargon can be found in a variety of fields, from law to education to engineering. Some examples of jargon include due diligence. A business term, due diligence, refers to the research that should be done before making an important business decision. AWOL, or AWOL, short for absent without leave, is military jargon used to describe a person whose whereabouts are unknown. Hard copy. A common term in business academia and the other fields, a hard copy is a physical printout of a document, as opposed to an electronic copy. Cache. A computing cache refers to a place for short-term memory storage. Deck. A journalism term for a subheading, usually 1 or 2 sentences long, that provides a brief summary of an article that follows. Stat. This is a term usually used in a medical context that means immediately, as in call the doctor stat. Phospholipid bilayer. This is a complex term for a layer of fat molecules surrounding a cell. A simpler term is cell membrane. Detritivore. A detritivore is an organism that feeds on detritus or dead matter. Examples of detritivores include earthworms, sea cucumbers, and millipedes. Holistic. Another word for comprehensive or complete, holistic is often used by educational professionals in reference to curriculum that focuses on social and emotional learning in addition to traditional lessons. Magic bullet. This is a term for a simple solution that solves a complex problem. It is usually used derisively, as in, I don't think this plan you've come up with is a magic bullet. Lastly, best practice. In business, a best practice is one that should be adopted because it has proven effectiveness. And that's the end of the lesson. Thank you!